So I have a treat for you today. When it comes to finding your dream job, what is the number one thing that you should be doing before you think about typing Indeed.com into your browser window, before you think about writing one word of your resume, before you even dream about what it's going to be like earning those mega bucks, being fulfilled every day in that amazing position that you're going to get? There's one thing that you have to do before all of that, and it's figure out what this job actually looks like. What does it mean to you to be a dream job? And in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how we teach our clients to do just that, right? It's so important, right? And if you don't have a few minutes to dedicate to figuring this out, then I'm afraid that it's going to be super hard for you to ever have success in your career, because to me, a dream job is one that fulfills you every single day when you go into that office or do whatever you're doing, pays you exactly what you're worth, so you never think you're being shortchanged, also gets you on the pathway to your future career goals, whether that's in 3 years' time if you're near retirement, or 20 or 30 years' time if you're mid-career, which are the kind of people that we help. So without further ado, let's dive into exactly how we do this step by step. I cannot wait for this. Okay, so here we go. This is how we do it using my amazing whiteboard software. And if you see me looking over here, this is because I've got multiple screens on my computer. So first thing that we need to do, number one, is perform what we call a career audit, right? If I could spell. What's a career audit? Well, you've already been working probably for a little bit of time, right? 10, 20, 30 years, whatever it is. So you already know pretty well what it is that you do like and you don't like about your current position. You know what kind of people you like working with. You know what kind of people you don't like working with. Like, the way I like to think about this is it's on a spectrum. So imagine at one end of the spectrum, you have nice family-oriented businesses that work in certain industries, and people know when your birthday is and they celebrate you getting married or whatever it might be. On the other end, you have super aggressive organizations, which are all about sales targets, and they don't really, care so much about the people, but they pay you really well, you get great bonuses, you might get business trips and stuff like that. Okay? There's a spectrum along which you need to know where you want to be. Because if you're somebody who prefers that kind of family-oriented environment, and you're working in this ultra-competitive, very sales-driven, whatever it might be, you're immediately going to be unhappy. So you need to know, first and foremost, what is it about your previous work, your previous career, that you actually liked? And also, what you didn't like. In terms of the work you were doing, the people you were working with, the culture of the organization. You need to figure that out first, because if you don't know what you already know from your past, how are you going to figure out what you want in the future? So that's step number one. Step number two, you need to figure out your, there we go, chief career purpose. Now I'm going to link this together with my amazing drawing skills. Here we go. Right, your chief career purpose, this is number two. So your chief career purpose is, where do you want to be long term? So if you come along and you say, hey, I want to be a CEO of a tech company, or I want to be a marketing director, or maybe not to that level, maybe I just say I want to work at a high level marketing this type of product, or I want to work in a fast-paced e-commerce business, or I want to work on environmental issues. You need to understand this. You need to understand what is the purpose of your career. Where are you trying to get to? Because if you don't know that, how are you ever going to get there? Right? How are you ever going to get there if you know where it is that you want to get to? And if you don't know where it is you want to get to, you cannot secure your dream role, okay? Because at some point it's not going to match up with your goals. You need to know what those long-term goals are, right? That is the next step, and it is extremely important you get this right. And once you have those two things, you've almost got everything, right? We're going to get down in a second to what else you need. But once you've figured out what is it that I didn't like and did like about my past, and where am I trying to get to in the future based on that, right? You've got pretty much everything, because then you can figure out, okay, based on those two things, what does today look like? Okay, so the next thing that we need to do is what we call, there we go, identify your ideal career, there we go, pathway. There we go. Identify your ideal career pathway. Your ideal career pathway is how do you get from where you are today to that place in future? Because what often happens is if you want to switch industries or switch domains, switch careers, you might not be able to do that immediately, right? If you're working in sales and you want to work in marketing, or you're working for an accounting company and you want to become a operations specialist, right? Whatever it might be, then you might not be able to do that overnight. If you want to become a software developer, there might be things you have to learn, skills you have to develop, experience that you might have to get. And so what you need to do is figure out, hey, what does my ideal career pathway look like? Whether you're close to retirement, and that's 5 years, and your pathway is, I'm a marketing director, I want to become a CMO, right? Or you're 30 years away from retirement and you want to become a CMO, but you're right down at a marketing manager right now. Okay? You need to figure this out. You need to figure out what does that ideal career pathway look like, including where do you work, what type of companies are going to give you this option, right? So maybe it's better to work at a large corporation right now, such that you have that great experience, and in future you can work at a small niche organization, but you have all this industry knowledge from the big company, right? That's what I did. I worked for one of the biggest companies in the world providing professional services. I was a hiring director at Deloitte, right? $47 billion company. A lot of people that work there then go and work for smaller companies because they have all that knowledge. That's what you need to figure out. Next, you need to figure out, okay, that's not worked. Right, let me get rid of that. Right, that'll do. Is your dream role type and dream company type. Right. So this is the final step of the process. What you need to do at this step is figure out what your dream role is, and your dream role is the next one you want to get. Okay? We're not talking about your dream role in the future because we've already thought about that in terms of your chief career purpose. We're talking about what is that step that you need to make right now that's going to get you on that ideal career pathway, it's going to get you towards your chief career purpose, that's going to include those things that you've identified from your career audit, the good things and the bad things, right? Remove the bad things, have more of the good things. And that's when we get to your dream role type. And a dream role type, for example, might be, I want to work in a medical sales organization in Chicago or in London or in the Midwest in the US or wherever it might be for you. Okay? That is your dream role type. And the reason that we do this and the reason it's so important is because any company that works in medical sales or healthcare sales in Chicago is going to require very similar things from that person. And what that allows you to do is become an expert in that. An expert in understanding the value that you need to bring as a person to that organization, such that as you're going through the hiring process, it's so easy for you because you understand exactly what they need. Because every company only hires people to solve a problem or enable them to exploit an opportunity. That's it. So if you understand what those pains are and those opportunities are, it's so easy for you. It's so easy, right? So that's what we need to do. And then finally, a dream company type. So a dream company type is, I was talking about the spectrum before. On one end, you might have the family-oriented business types. On the other end, you might have the very aggressive, very KPI-driven organizations. You need to figure out where on that spectrum you fit. What are the kind of cultural things that you want from a company that you work for, right? And how that fits into your ideal career pathway. And if you do all of these things, and this is what we do with our clients first and foremost, because if you don't do this, like I said earlier, it's going to be so hard for you to actually get success in your career. But if you do this, right, it allows you to become that expert in that industry. And I'm talking about an expert in terms of what those companies need from people that they hire in those certain positions, because if you can match up your assets, so your resume, your cover letter, your CV, your LinkedIn profile, your value letter, which is something, again, we teach our clients, right? If you can do that, and you can do it effectively, then the hiring process is so straightforward because you're matching up exactly what they want to what you can provide, right? It makes things so much easier, and it also makes it easy to unlock the hidden job market, which is something else that I talk about, something else that we teach our clients, and you'll see in my other videos as well. So make sure that you do this. Make sure that you take this into consideration if you are in your job hunt. If you've applied for like 400 jobs online, like I hear some people have, did you do this first? Because if you didn't, maybe you kind of understand why it might not be working out for you. So there we go. That is what you need to do to start that process of getting hired into your dream job. And I promise to you, because I've done it with thousands and thousands of clients that we've had through our business in the last 5 years, that if you do this, your chances are going to be massively increased, your stress is going to be decreased, the opportunities you're going to be able to get in the job search are going to be huge compared to just scrolling through the job boards, because that is just not the way to do things. If you've been scrolling through the job boards for the past few months trying to figure out what to do, you know now why that's not going to help you. You know why what you should do instead. Okay? So if you want to understand more about this, click the subscribe button and you'll get more of my videos when I release them, because I'm going to be releasing a lot in the coming weeks about this process and a lot more about what we teach our clients in our coaching programs. So I'll see you there.